Sprint 6. How much will they pay? The last missing piece in the capturing happy customer puzzle is figuring out how much they would be willing to pay. You can ask a potential customer, but the answer may not be a good choice for you. You want to set a price that gives you a fair profit by capturing its full value, whether tangible, like savings, or intangible, like a super fun experience. You need to set a price that takes into account other alternatives a potential customer has in achieving a similar state of happiness. Naive pricing can set prices too low and destroy your ability to be profitable, or too high and turn away potential customers, threatening your ability to stay in business. The following article, How Much Will They Pay?, will guide you to assemble 3 sets of information that help you set realistic pricing. How Much Will They Pay? Written and read by Derek Liedau.
You need to understand the value your service or product will deliver to users. Value creation is more than just money. Understanding what value you deliver enables you to confidently justify as high a price as possible. To probe for the value of your product or service, you must be able to tell a story that enables your interviewee to picture him or herself using and enjoying it. If you have drawings or images that can help someone relate to your story, that's even better. The story should be about them. Imagine yourself walking in this mall, sitting on this beach, or wherever it would be. Imagine having this AI assistant that reads all your emails and only keeps the ones that will interest you. Conducting your interviews near where the product or service will be used helps you to tell a better story. Ask to interview people that seem to fit the profile of your primary user persona. At this point in your investigations, tell people that you want to interview that you are the CEO of a company that is testing an idea for a new product or service that doesn't yet exist, and you want to interview potential customers yourself to determine if it's worth pursuing. Ask the persona if they have just a few moments for you to describe the idea and answer just 5 short questions. Tell your story, and then take notes as they speak to capture and remember what they say. If they want to tell you more than you asked for, that's great. Listen and write it down, and that is also super valuable. But here are the 5 questions to ask. How did the story about the product or service make you feel? Would this be something you would be excited to buy or use in the case of a nonprofit? What do you do today to get a similar result and feeling? How much does that cost in terms of time and money to do that? What other benefits would you gain by using our product or service from what you do now? How to probe for alternative choices. Armed with how interviewees answered, what do you do today to get a similar feeling or result? You want to investigate the online forums that discuss these alternatives. Do not participate as you do not want to tip competitors off to what you plan to do. You want to note what good things and bad things are being discussed. You also want to note if anyone is suggesting improvements or hacks to how to achieve the desired results. And now investigate how much each step or alternative solution costs. Some interviewees may have mentioned prices, but you need to verify as best you can with online sources or through your contacts. Create a table with 4 columns. The first column is for the list of steps used to achieve an alternate result. The second column lists the costs of taking that step. The third column lists what frustration is associated with that step. And the fourth column is for listing any happiness generated by doing that step. Make and fill out a similar 4-column table for any other alternative that was mentioned more than once. Finally, make and fill out a similar table for your envisioned product or service. You got to be honest about potential frustrations with its use, as it's possible all the people you briefly interviewed may have overlooked some downsides that you suspect might arise. If you suspect something, put it down. At this point, note that if there are two or more alternative ways that potential customers achieve a similar outcome that you plan to deliver, that you've ultimately discovered two new personas. One persona prefers to get a result one way with the associated costs and frustration, while the other persona prefers an alternative set of steps, costs, and frustrations. If you can differentiate the product or service you would offer to each, you could conceivably charge two different prices. Or if that's not practical, then serve both personas with one product or service offering by setting a price that will be viewed as compelling by the persona using the least costly but possibly more frustrating alternative. Summarize the potential net value you plan to deliver. Add up all the costs associated with the least costly alternative. List all the frustrations associated with the least frustrating alternative. It's not necessarily the least expensive alternative. Which of these frustrations will be completely eliminated with your solution? Are there any happinesses that your solution adds compared to both alternatives? If you thought of a beautiful delivery personalization as you did in Sprint 5, then that should also be added here. In general, a consumer product that creates more happiness with fewer frustrations is viewed as a luxury. It can sell for 2 or 3 times more than a product with more frustrations. For the purposes of estimating your revenues, assume 3 times. In selling to businesses and governments, you can charge the same as though only the least costly. The reduction in frustrations and the increased happiness you deliver to governments, for example, or businesses results in a vastly increased likelihood of becoming the dominant vendor for that product or service. You can double the normal win percentage that you use in estimating how much business you could capture. Next steps. At this point, you have all you need to make an evidence-based estimate of how many target persona customers you will interact with in your first year and how much you can initially charge them. Does multiplying these two numbers together get you enough revenue to be excited? If so, then you can skip to Sprint 18 and learn how to do a complete plan on how you proceed to investigate and to confirm that you can create an actual business. But we do strongly suggest that you also do sprints 7 through 17. They focus on developing the skills of a great startup leader, and these skills will make you a much better decision maker, a more charismatic person, and someone others trust and want to work with. Acquiring these skills also greatly increase your chances of success and also your chances of staying the leader during the challenging times all startups encounter.
Sprint exercise. Now that you've read or listened to our article, How Much Will They Pay?, you know how to assemble the 3 important sets of information. To recap, first, interview potential customers with 5 specific questions about how much they would value a service or product like yours. Second, we've outlined the tasks that capture what potential customers say about alternative choices they have relative to your prospective product or service. Third, we advise you on how to set a compelling value capturing price. And finally, armed with this potential pricing, you can use it in combination with the information from Sprint 5 to estimate a realistic level of initial revenues for your business.